to have a shared theology. We have a shared statement of principles.
Okay.
We may get there by being inspired by the teachings of Jesus or the teachings of Buddha or our life experience.
Yep.
Or a mystical sense of inner guidance. And that's what's on the right-hand side here, is the living tradition we share draws from many sources. Direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. Words and deeds of prophetic men and women which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love. Wisdom from the world's religions which inspires us in our ethical and spiritual life. Jewish and Christian teachings which call us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbors as ourselves. Humanist teachings which counsel us to heed the guidance of reason and the results of science and warn us against the idolatries of mind and spirit. And since this particular version came out, we also added a sixth source, earth-centered traditions, which remind us to live in harmony with the rhythms of the earth.
Okay.
This, by the way, is a labyrinth
right
on the floor. It's subtle and not easy to see, but
yeah,
that's one reason, that and the fact that Tai Chi and many other things happen here during the week, that the chairs are gone
I see.
most of the time.
It's a community hall in many ways.
Right.
Yeah.
And the flaming chalice is our primary symbol.
Yep.
So there are a number of variations on that.
I see. Yeah.
And the one I'm wearing is brings in all the world religion symbols around
I
it.
noticed that. It's
from a stained glass window in one of our churches.
Okay.
So, among other things, using the flame, which you can't put in a box, you can't make really solid.
It'll always come out, right?
It is. Its form is not set.
Yeah.
And so that would be our image of spirit.
Yep.
But
And you have a bit of a pulpit here too, or
yes.
a lectern of some kind.
Yeah, I do. Now we have a small stand that we put a chalice on that we light every Sunday. And in a small church like this, we often have a table with candles for joys and sorrows.
Okay. So when you're talking in terms of God, how is that sort of manifested on a Sunday? Is it, would you have readings from a variety of holy texts? Do you have a book that you read from on any kind of regular basis? Or?
There's a section on each of those sources, and then the little blue one was added and picks up the earth-centered source, which wasn't part of this one. But, for instance, in meditation time, I often invite people into that spacious silence where we find our freedom from those habits which limit us and from our fears. And I use the spacious silence language a lot because it bridges the diversity of theology. Spirit of Life, our favorite, and that's something that this commission I was on looked into. We did publish a book on engaging our theological diversity. And our favorite hymn is Spirit of Life by Carolyn McDade, as far as the one sung most often is in our churches. So that kind of language.
Spirit of life, come with me, sing in my heart, stir compassion, rise and see. Yeah, giving life the shape of justice. Oh, yeah.
So that, I mean, a lot of Christian churches use Spirit of Life too. It's in the United Church hymnal.
Yeah.
Spirituality for me is the depth dimension of life.
Yeah.
It doesn't require belief in a separate spirit or soul. So I try to use language which is inclusive but calls people beyond their. It's one of the things about Buddhist practice is it helps as centering prayer and many other practices do, break that stimulus response connection where our limiting habits keep us from being true to our deeper values.
Sure, yeah.
So when I talk about spacious emptiness, it's also a spacious presence. We do have meditation time. Sometimes I do an explicit prayer. Often I use the meditation language because it's more universally accepted among my people. And then we'll have some meditative music. Then, having brought them hopefully into a more open mind state, then there's a sermon or other focus on reflection.
Sure.
And then the moving back out into the world. The service, the worship is over, let the service begin, as the Quakers would say, kind of sense. So.